What is going on, everybody? It is Ahmed, and I am back today with yet another video for you on. Today, guys, we got to give some updates on Novo Nordisk stock. As we know, earnings are going to be reported tomorrow after market closes. Right now, Novo Nordisk stock took a very big hit, down 12.34%. And a lot of you might ask, well, is it a good time to buy? Is it time to sell? Or is it time to just continue holding? And I'll give you guys my full breakdown and analysis on what's going on from a macro sense, from a shares perspective for Novo Nordisk, and what we could actually see in the broader stock market. Now remember, never financial advice, just trying to put you guys on the plays that I'm in. If you're new around here, smash the like button and also consider subscribing to the channel. Novo Nordisk down 12.54% at $51 a share. We're getting below the 1 month moving average that we've been seeing over the last 30 days. And even if you look at the 6-month chart, we're actually pretty much back near November lows. And the question becomes, will we touch or hit those numbers before rebounding and going back towards a rally to all-time highs that we were actually projecting to hit, hopefully in Q2 of 2026. Remember, whenever you are in doubt, look at what's happening in the broader market. QQQ down 1.94% today. That's the NASDAQ. All big tech is getting hit dramatically. We're seeing the S&P 500 down 1.19% in the day, actually breaking below its 5-day. Also, price action and bottom. So what's going on here and why are things dropping? Specifically for Novo Nordisk stock, we have some news that came in earlier today saying Novo Nordisk shares tumble after the company warns of sales hit this year. Again, guys, this is because they're anticipating their Q4 earnings. Nothing changes for our thesis for 2026. What did I say in earlier videos? Expect that Novo Nordisk's Q4 earnings report to be very mild, poor, probably even below expectations, which could be another buy the dip opportunity. Novo Nordisk said late Tuesday it sees sales and profit growth declining this year, expecting a U.S. sales hit. Novo Nordisk American Depository shares fell as much as 14% on the news, and it comes as Danish drug maker is fighting to regain its footing as the leading weight loss drug maker amid fierce competition with the likes of Eli Lilly and more. Novo Nordisk shares plummeted on Tuesday after the company said it sees sales and profit growth declining this year, hit by lower prices in the U.S. and loss of exclusivity for its blockbuster Wegovy and Ozempic in China, Brazil, and Canada. Novo Nordisk American Depository shares fell as much as 14% in the afternoon trading after the trading halt. The results were published after the closing bell in Copenhagen, where the company has its primary listing and ahead of its scheduled release early Wednesday. For 2026, the drug maker sees sales and operating profit both declining between 5 and 13% at constant exchange rates, far worse than analysts expected. But guys, I'm going to tell you right now that this instead could be seen as a potential opportunity because remember, one of the biggest things that we're looking forward to is what's going to happen with their oral regimen. That is Wegovy oral tablet that has now been dispensing here in the United States after FDA approval, and we're seeing it also being dispensed in the UK. In 2026, Novo Nordisk will face pricing headwinds in an increasingly competitive market. CEO Mike Dostar said, however, we are very encouraged by the promising early uptake from the U.S. launch of the Wegovy pill, and we do remain confident in our ability to drive volume growth over the coming years. So the things to make sure we're watching for right now is the earnings report that's going to happen tomorrow. An extreme volatility is expected for Novo Nordisk stock, but I do think it's going to present some of the biggest opportunities in the market that we have seen probably in 2026 as well. Novo Nordisk common stock is expected to report earnings on 2/4/2026 before the market opens. So hopefully I could report back to you guys on what I'm doing, but I'm looking to establish bigger position in Novo Nordisk after we hear about the earnings reports that it's going to again get hit. But now I think it's starting to get priced into the market. So dollar cost averaging starting today on February 3rd might be very much viable. The report will be for the fiscal year ending in 2025, according to Zacks Investment Research, based on 4 analyst forecasts, the consensus EPS forecast for the quarter is about 89 cents per share, or earnings per share. The reported EPS for the same quarter last year was 91 cents. So again, a 2-cent drop, which of course isn't that bullish. There are some things that happen also from a press release perspective. Novo Nordisk The CagriSema demonstrated superior HbA1c or hemoglobin A1c reduction of 1.91 percent points and weight loss of 14.2% in adults with type 2 diabetes in the Reimagine 2 trial. So seeing a superior HbA1c, or again, what we call in healthcare A1c reductions, that's actually extremely bullish. Almost a 2% reduction is very, very good, showing an average blood glucose drop of more than even like 50 to 60 points on a day-to-day reading. So when we see these kind of numbers, that shows us that diabetes control with the CagriSema is looking very, very good. Now, again, when we look at the overall global market, I do think bigger opportunities are going to start presenting. Why? Benjamin Cohen is someone that I follow very, very closely on Twitter. And on February 1st, he said, I think we likely see a 10% drop in SPX soon, or the S&P 500. And then this person commented saying, define soon. And he said, because like every doomer, you just kick the can. Will SPX see 10% again? Yes. Is it worth the fear mongering? No. Has no one learned their lesson? Don't use leverage, just stay invested. I don't use leverage, Benjamin said. I frequently tell others not to use leverage. I stay invested and tell people to just dollar cost average low expense ratio index funds, but keep screaming into the wind. So again, guys, in my opinion, I think we could potentially see a global market retrace, right? The S&P 500 has shown that it's done this time and time again. Between end of October when it was $687, it dropped all the way back down to right around $652, dropping about 5% in the span of only a few weeks. Can we see this again? But overall, remember the trajectory of the market, regardless of what dips occur over time, we see recoveries that are very U-shaped, and then we see things move forward. We saw it during the 2020 COVID crash. We saw it back in 2022 with the war issues that were happening from a global geopolitical perspective. We saw it earlier this year with Donald Trump's tariffs being enacted, where it dropped about 20%, entered bear market territory, and everyone was screaming bear, bear, bear. But remember, the direction of the market is, generally speaking, always up. So with that being said, the opportunities will present. And with Novo Nordisk stock right now, I do think that we will, even with this correction that we're seeing right now, we're somewhere near a potential local bottom. And at $51.54 a share, I think it's still a great buy, even if it misses earnings tomorrow, and that's how you got to play it. But I will say, if you look at the 1 day, right now things are starting to price in for tomorrow's earnings report. If the revenue miss and the EPS, or the earnings per share, is missed quite heavily, more than expectations to a dramatic level, then maybe we see more of a correction. But if SPY continues to correct towards the downward direction, then of course, Novo Nordisk could also take a little bit more of a beating. So with that being said, DCA, or dollar cost average, has proven as the best strategy for investing. If you're a person that is well seasoned in the stock market or equities, or if you're someone that's brand new, you guys probably heard about the monkey trial, where a monkey literally threw darts at a wall, and based off that was days that he was going to be buying certain stocks and certain shares. And guess what? He performed better than the S&P 500 by just guessing. But right now we have a lot more than just guessing when it comes to Novo. And I think, again, with everything they have on their pipeline, everything that's happening with the Cagri and the Wegovy pill, I think the earnings per share sure misses for Q4, but Q1's earnings that are going to be reported in Q2 should be extremely bullish and move us towards the upside. So again, guys, I do appreciate your support. I think, again, there's a lot more to look into for Novo Nordisk and a lot higher upside. DCA, DCA, DCA. If you have dry powder today, let's assume you have $3,000. Maybe toss in $1,000 of that $3,000. Again, that's not money that you need for rent, mortgage, or food on the table. That's excess cash you have sitting in the bank that you don't know what to do with. You could start DCAing into things like Novo Nordisk stock. Embrace the volatility. And again, we will see better days. I appreciate your support as always. That's all I had for you guys today. And until next time, as always, everybody, keep investing. Peace.